69 seconds. That is exactly how long it took for the greatest comeback in modern sports history to violently collapse on live television. That is Conor McGregor, the wealthiest martial artist on the planet, lying flat on the canvas of the T-Mobile Arena, his right knee buckled in a completely unnatural direction.
Max Holloway gets the win in round one due to a Conor McGregor knee injury or so.
It's like somebody took my candy from me. I'm just so sad. That's so crazy how
He wasn't knocked out by a spectacular punch. He wasn't caught in a tactical submission. He threw a single kick, and his 37-year-old body simply surrendered under the weight of his own mechanical failure.
Even with him walking into the octagon, it didn't seem, it just didn't seem like the same Conor.
I mean, I was expecting at least a one-round war, or, who knew what Conor was capable of as far as cardio or whatever else after a 5-year layoff. And
for months leading up to the fight, the UFC sold us a mythological resurrection. They promised the triumphant return of the king, but what you just watched was a live, globally televised robbery. Every single executive and analyst for the Ultimate Fighting Championship knew the truth. They knew a fighter coming off a devastating leg break and a half-decade of toxic inactivity could not survive in a cage with Max Holloway in a championship-level 5-round fight.
We know he can talk people into the seats to see him fight, but what does he still have left? I don't know that answer.
We just have no idea what Conor McGregor is going to look like. It would be a fool's game to try to assess, like, he's coming off of a broken leg and we haven't seen him fight in 5 years.
So why did they march a compromised man out to the slaughter? Because the corporate machine does not view fighters as human beings. It views them as distressed assets to be liquidated.
everything that's going on in Vegas, International Fight Week is selling out. So it's great to have Conor back.
In this video, we're going to look deeper into the 69-second robbery Conor McGregor and the UFC just pulled off because of the multi-billion-dollar broadcast deal that demanded he returned as a sacrifice and the terrifying reality of an ego that refuses to let the fighter die. Welcome to Redline Theory. To truly comprehend the sheer tragedy of Conor McGregor's downfall, you must first understand the god he used to be. This contrast is the only way to measure the depth of the fall. Conor McGregor was not merely a mixed martial artist, he was a promoter's absolute dream, a generational anomaly who fundamentally altered the economic landscape of combat sports for life.
Where's my share? Where's my equity? If I'm the one that's bringing this, I mean, they've got to come talk to me now. That's all I know. I've got both belts, a chunk of money. You want me to stick around? You want me to keep doing what I'm doing? Let's talk. I want what I do.
During his meteoric rise through the featherweight division, he moved with a fluid, supernatural precision. He possessed a spatial awareness that allowed him to slip punches by mere millimeters, effortlessly gliding out of range before delivering a devastating, pinpoint left hand that separated men from their consciousness.
Punches is the heavy. He packs a punch. Who's above everybody?
Conor McGregor, no doubt about it.
You put Conor at the top.
Yeah, that as the biggest puncher I've fought.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's special individual for sure.
I am cold, I am emotionless, I am ready for war.
But his athletic prowess was only 50% of the equation. To become a superstar, you have to win fights. But to become an empire, you have to manipulate reality. McGregor understood better than anyone in history that the fight business is entirely dependent on narrative friction.
London sounds looking good. How do I look? What the fuck is he wearing?
The guy thinks he's God's gift to the earth, and the fact that he's taken things to a personal level.
The defining illustration of this psychological infiltration occurred during the build-up to his featherweight title fight against Jose Aldo. Aldo was an undefeated, decade-long champion, a notoriously stoic and disciplined martial artist who drew his absolute strength from respect and order. During a raucous press conference in Dublin, Ireland, McGregor sat mere yards away from the champion. Without warning, he leapt from his seat, lunged across the stage, and snatched Aldo's championship belt right off the table, raising it above his head and declaring himself the king. This was not a spontaneous act of disrespect. It was a highly calculated psychological operation. By continuously violating Aldo's boundaries, mocking his legacy, and invading his physical space, McGregor forced the champion into an emotional frenzy.
You know what that means? Pussy.
But you said you smell fear in him.
Yes, there's a beautiful aroma that arouses me.
That psychological manipulation directly resulted in the Brazilian rushing forward recklessly in the opening seconds of their eventual bout, only to be knocked completely unconscious by a counter left hook in exactly 13 seconds.
People believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. You truly believe in it. If you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction and it will become reality.
McGregor essentially won the fight in the press conference. The physical execution in the cage was just the paperwork. The true terrifying danger of Conor McGregor lay in the reality that his mouth generated unprecedented hype, but his left hand consistently validated it. He was the undisputed king of the combat sports world. He was untouchable, but the foundation of his empire was already beginning to rot from the inside out, driven by the very wealth his success had generated. The terminal decline of an elite athlete rarely begins with a physical strike inside the arena. It begins with the quiet, invisible erosion of the desperate hunger that necessitated their rise in the first place.
When that gold belt is around my waist, when my mother has a big mansion, when my girlfriend has a different car for every day of the week, when my kids have everything they ever want, then it will pay.
For McGregor, the paradigm shifted permanently when he leveraged his unprecedented stardom to secure a professional boxing match against Floyd Mayweather. He extracted a reported payday of over $100 million. With that singular financial transaction, he was no longer a hungry martial artist relying on a monk-like discipline to survive the brutal realities of the cage. He had transitioned into a global corporate entity.
You're damn right I'm in it to make the money. This is prize fighting. I'm in it to get rich, fast, and then I'm in it to get out.
The only weight I give a fuck about is the weight of them checks. And my checks are always super heavyweight, so I don't give a shit.
The sheer velocity of that financial ascent created a unique form of psychological decompression sickness. The desperation that fueled his early morning runs and obsessive training was rapidly replaced by the insulated, frictionless comfort of bespoke tailoring, hyperyachts, and private aviation. The man who once lived on welfare checks in Dublin was suddenly navigating the stratosphere of global wealth, and the anchor that kept him grounded was immediately severed.
The fight game, the whiskey game, the fashion game, the fitness game.
Yes.
These are my true passions, and I am going down these avenues that these avenues that the fight game has opened up for me. I'm going down them at 100 miles an hour.
What's also better than money? More fucking money. So that's it. There's a lot more coming in.
But extreme wealth alone does not destroy a fighter. The true catalyst for his physical and psychological unraveling was a highly specific corporate venture, the launch of his own liquor brand, Proper No. 12 Irish Whiskey.
It's Proper No. 12 Irish.
To understand the gravity of this shift, you have to sharply contrast his past with his present. Before becoming a UFC champion, McGregor maintained a rigid, almost Spartan discipline. He rarely, if ever, consumed alcohol. His lifestyle was defined entirely by cardiovascular conditioning, strict dietary adherence, and technical sparring. But the introduction of a global liquor brand demanded that he become its primary salesman.
I feel like you fell into the trap that so many fighters do with fame and money.
Obviously. 2017. Double weight world champion, Floyd Mayweather banked, and then I launched an Irish whiskey. I didn't drink heavily, if at all, in that time of my life. I was an athlete at the top of my game. Next thing you know, there's thousands upon thousands of bottles in my garage. Sell this, Conor. Okay, I'd leave my property and with 2 bottles under my arm. And that was it. I was caught.
The transition is subtle at first. You pour a glass for a promotional video, you pour a glass to celebrate a business deal, but soon the alcohol becomes a fixture of the evening routine. He started drinking more and more, slowly becoming his own best customer. The relentless, punishing regimen required to remain at the absolute pinnacle of mixed martial arts was quietly, systematically eroded by the intoxicating reality of his own product.
More, pour it out faster. Pour it out faster. The faster you pour, the better.
Okay.
So fast open, fast pour.
Proper number 12 was an unmitigated commercial triumph. He eventually sold his majority stake for hundreds of millions of dollars. But the physiological cost of that business deal was bankrupting. The fighter who once meticulously measured his macronutrients and obsessed over biomechanics was replaced by a celebrity photographed holding a glass of whiskey at nearly every public appearance.
I almost didn't get the glass, I almost didn't get the bottle into the arena. I anticipated that. I anticipated that they weren't going to let me in with me big bottle, so I had a little sloy ball brought in. You know, you see how tricks up me back pocket all over the gaff.
The alcohol dissolved his psychological armor. More importantly, it severely compromised the physical recovery protocols that are absolutely essential for an aging athlete. Fast-twitch muscle fibers do not survive in a pool of liquor. The toxic excess left him uniquely vulnerable to the unforgiving physics of the octagon, setting the stage for a physical collapse that the corporate machine would eventually exploit for its own gain. The physical bill for that lifestyle finally came due in the summer of 2021 when a catastrophic leg break against Dustin Poirier initiated a bleak 5-year void of inactivity. Stripped of his ability to compete, McGregor spiraled into a vortex of external controversies, legal chaos, and an extended absence from the testing pool.
Fighter Conor McGregor sexually assaulted a woman in a hotel penthouse during a night of heavy partying.
He was a compromised man, both physically and reputationally. Yet the corporate machine saw a remaining reservoir of financial equity that had not yet been fully extracted, and they needed that equity to execute a monumental corporate maneuver.
I'm over prostituting the guy for his name for the sake of somebody making money. That I'm fucking definitely over.
Yeah.
But you know, if the guy wants to train the right way and come back, I'm 1,000,000% behind it.
They knew he had to get in the ring to get paid $30 million.
Yeah.
He doesn't step foot in there, he doesn't get his 30. He has to get in there to get his $30 million.
The script of modern sports uncovers its true mechanics in the boardroom, not the cage. The UFC was in the process of executing a massive, historic media rights agreement with Paramount Skydance Corporation. This landmark deal fundamentally altered the promotion's economic model. It abolished the traditional pay-per-view structure that the UFC had relied upon for decades and moved all premium numbered events exclusively to the Paramount Plus streaming platform.
So not only if you're a UFC fan, you get away from the pay-per-view model, now you just pay, $12 or $13 a month, whatever it is, and you get all this other programming, plus all the UFC content.
The staggering multi-billion-dollar valuation relied entirely on Paramount's ability to generate massive, immediate subscriber spikes and retain those users within their digital ecosystem. The UFC needed extreme leverage to justify those economics to Paramount executives. To inflate the platform's valuation and guarantee a return on investment, they needed a global spectacle with built-in, unassailable mainstream interest. They needed a human billboard capable of funneling millions of casual fans directly behind a digital paywall.
I would probably assume they've already sold him as part of this deal.
Yeah.
As part of the negotiations, like, we're going to get Conor McGregor back. Conor really wants to fight 2 fights. So he might have even been needed to complete the Paramount deal in a certain type of way. But they don't need to sell pay-per-views anymore.
I thought that was what was really interesting in the Helwani interview as well. He did say that, he's got 2 fights, and the second one is already
locked in.
Is already locked in for next year. So they're trying to spread out, knowing that he's only got 2 left.
This dynamic illustrates the pure clinical ruthlessness of the fight business. The executives orchestrating this deal understood the medical and psychological realities intimately. Everyone involved in the sport knew with absolute certainty that a 37-year-old Conor McGregor, coming off a devastating bone fracture and a half-decade of inactivity in excess, would not be able to fight at a championship level. Yet they proceeded with absolute clinical detachment. His comeback was hyped purely as a cash grab mechanism to fulfill corporate promises and artificially spike Paramount subscriptions.
Started with Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes, and then we went through Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre, and then you get into Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor era. Yes, they're all key, and they all built different segments of the business, right? Conor ignited Europe like crazy, and then got to a point where the rest of the world became Conor McGregor fans. Conor, you guys know as well as I do. I mean, he's a powerhouse, man. I mean, when he's involved, I mean, tickets as soon as they went on sale, went flying.
The fight against Max Holloway was a robbery in real time. The UFC paraded a compromised, aging fighter out to the slaughter strictly to fulfill their end of a broadcasting contract. They did not care if McGregor won. They did not care if his knee buckled under the immense pressure of a live global broadcast. They simply extracted the final, lucrative drops of his superstar equity to secure their ecosystem. To understand the psychology of the elite athlete at the twilight of their career is to understand the state of profound vulnerability. When an individual's entire self-worth is connected exclusively to their athletic output, they suffer severe psychological trauma during career transitions. Conor McGregor undeniably built a massive, generational financial portfolio outside the cage, but his core psychological identity remains linked to the myth of the notorious. His entire persona was forged in violence, dominance, and the absolute destruction of his peers.
I don't rate them. To tell you the truth, I don't rate them.
Yeah.
I don't rate them. Not on my level. And rather than saying it and getting into more detail on it, I would rather just show it.
He is currently trapped in a terrifying psychological limbo. He possesses all the money in the world, yet he remains psychologically bankrupt without the physical and psychological high of walking into an arena. He cannot seem to let go of his identity as an elite level fighter. He is desperately searching for external justification for his internal chaos. He cannot separate the character he created for the cameras from the fragile, failing body he now inhabits.
I feel a lot more fresher than these opponents. I have had my time of rest. I feel I am coming into my prime now. My prime is, I'm only entering my prime, and now and forever. So that is my mindset going in here.
He is starving himself of the peace and safety of retirement just to maintain the ghost of a warrior that no longer exists. And the sport, naturally, is already laying the groundwork for the next potential extraction. In the immediate aftermath of the 69-second anticlimactic collapse, Max Holloway took the microphone and planted the seed for a trilogy fight.
Hey guys, let's give it up for Conor McGregor, guys. What an absolute animal. When we was in here, he kept trying to say, I was trying to call a fight, and he kept asking to fight on. Hey, but you guys are lucky, because there's going to be a Holloway versus McGregor 3 now. Let's get this fucking money, boys.
The system will always offer the addict one more hit if there is $1 to be made. The final, horrifying question remains. Where does Conor McGregor go from here? Does he finally surrender to the brutal, inescapable reality of his 37-year-old body? Does he listen to the medical consensus, walk away into the insulated shadows of his wealth, and save himself from further physical degradation? Or does his ego, the exact same megalomaniacal engine that built his empire, shattered pay-per-view records, and allowed him to conquer 2 weight divisions, force him into a final, fatal delusion? Will he attempt to hobble back into the octagon for one more highly marketed cash grab, convinced by his own rhetoric that he can still perform at the highest levels of the sport? The tragedy of Conor's loss is not that a king was finally dethroned. The true tragedy is that the king still believes he is wearing the crown, completely unaware that he is bleeding out on the floor of a corporate slaughterhouse. In the aftermath of the fight, Conor went on Twitter to dispel rumors he was injured before the fight after fans pointed out he was stumbling leading up to his walk into the octagon. He also said he was in a dark place after the loss he can only describe as hell. The delusion he has of himself still being an elite level athlete is slowly evaporating, leaving only a broken man staring up at the stadium lights, descending rapidly into a clinical, inescapable void. This is Redline Theory. Thank you for watching.